guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm back with dark hair, as you might notice. A little mistake, but I kind of like it. We'll see. I have been out of touch for a while. I'm actually in the process of finishing up a kid's book, and I thought I was at the end of it, which I'm not yet. But anyway, so I'm sorry for the delay. While I was working on my kid's book, I decided I would do a reset diet and post my daily what I eat in a day content on my shorts feed. And I wanted to share with you guys how it went. I started, I'm just going to tell you, it's very embarrassing because I really went up in my weight. I started off at 313 and I'm about 9 days into it right now, and I've lost 10 pounds, so it is really working. It's basically a 1600 calorie diet, and I want to share the food that I made with you. The first thing that I made was a very simple sausage, egg, and cheese sandwich oven. For lunch, I had my cottage cheese bowl. I love that. And then for dinner, I had my favorite of all time, which is the shredded chicken tacos. And then for my snack, I made some matcha energy bites, and depending on the day, I would either have 2 of those and some yogurt with fruit, or just those. And that's what I ate every day. I drank, of course, my water. I had 2 of these, but I would really like to bump that up to 3. So water was important, and I had a protein coffee in the morning, a coffee that was 75 calories. So all in total is around 1600. High-end 1700. So that really worked for me. So let me go ahead and show you what I made. Let's start with breakfast, and then we'll go on to lunch. Okay, let's get started. So these are the sandwiches that I ate pretty much on my breakfast routine for my reset, and I'm continue to eat these. So let me show you how to recreate them. So to begin with, you're going to take 6 eggs and put them into a bowl. I used this large measuring glass because it's easy to pour with. And then I put half a cup of just regular milk to give it a little bit more creaminess, and some salt and pepper, and then gave that a stir. Casserole dish, and I lined it with parchment paper. Go ahead and put this mixture into the parchment covered casserole dish, then bake it at 350 for 23 minutes. Then when it comes out, you just lift the parchment out and you put it onto a cutting board. I cut it into 6 pieces. Then I took my muffin cutter, which is a 3-inch disc, and I just made these little round circles to make it look nice and pretty. And believe me, you eat with your eyes. I love this. It makes me feel like I'm having a gourmet sandwich every day. And so go ahead and buy one. I think they were like $10 from Amazon, so you can't beat that. Then go ahead and put your little disc onto the English muffins. Now these are whole wheat, and I didn't toast them because I'm going to show you why in a minute. So we actually have 5 here. One of them didn't come out right, so I was only able to make 5. And then I used the ready-made Jimmy Dean sausage patties, and I just put 1 in each one. I think each of these are, I think they're around 80 calories or something. But the complete macros are going to be in the blog post of this video, so you'll see that. Then I put some low sodium white cheddar cheese. This cheese is so good. And I covered each of the English muffins. And then, top each one. For these with parchment paper, when you go to heat these up, you can just put them in the microwave with parchment paper on it, and it makes it so that it steams it, and it's nice and yummy. So wrap each one of these up, and then I did all 5 of them. And you can do as many as you want, obviously. And then I just put them into, after I wrapped them all up, I put them into a plastic bag, marked the date on them, and had one every day. So good, you guys. So to reheat these, you're going to defrost in the microwave for 40 seconds. Then put it in the air fryer for about 5 minutes, open-faced. Then take it out and put the top back on, and then air fry it for another minute at 350, and they turn out amazing. I'll go ahead and put the instructions for the oven and the microwave as well. But if you have an air fryer, I'd highly suggest it. They turn out so good like this. Give it a try. And they were super yummy. I paired it with some fruit. So that was another, I think it was around 100 calories for the grapes because I had a cup that day. But it just depends on how hungry I am. But the base of the star of the show is these English muffins. And I'm going to continue to make them next week as well. So yeah, hope you enjoy them. Okay, so then for lunch, I had this whipped cottage cheese bowl. I mixed it up from before. I used to put hot honey, but this time I tried a little bit of sweet chili on the mix and it was delicious. So let me show you how I made it. So to begin with, I went ahead and fried up my ground beef. I use 80% lean ground beef. I used some paprika, a little bit of garlic powder and salt and pepper, just kind of keep it neutral flavor. And then I drained it. Now, when I went to portion this out, I had a lot less. I had about somewhere in the range of 2.5 ounces for 4 servings. Now, if you want to make that closer to 3 ounces, use 93% lean ground beef. So with my sweet potatoes, I always get just whatever I can find. These were super huge. I had 4 huge ones. So I used 2 of them, and I peeled them, and I cut them in half. And then I cut them into, like little moon-shaped disc, and then I would make them, and from there I would cut them down again until they were like little, I guess, triangle or rectangular pieces, and then I would chop them up again, and that seemed to be a good portion to roast them. So for about 1.5 ounces of the sweet potatoes, I put about a tablespoon of oil, and they turned out delicious. So this is a final product. I put 2.5 ounces of the beef, then the half cup of sweet potatoes, a quarter of about 7 grams of avocado, and then a quarter cup of ricotta cheese. And it was so good, you guys. Yummy. So for dinner, I had my favorite Chipotle shredded chicken tacos. These have become like a really big staple in my diet weight loss journey because they're easy to make, healthy, and they taste great, and they're filling. So let's go ahead and get started with making the sauce. To begin with, I use a can of chipotle peppers and adobe sauce. I put the whole thing into the food processor here. And I used to make this as I went, as I made the recipe. But I use this so often that I decided, let me triple it, because I was using like just a third of a can before. Let me use the entire can of chipotle peppers. And so basically what I do is I make 3 cups of this sauce. So for this, you're going to need 1 cup of honey. And then I ended up using, or half a cup. I thought I needed half a cup, but I ended up using a full cup of honey. It gives it a really nice sweetness. And then I was going to use paprika, but I ended up not using that. I also used a cup of chicken broth, and then I used some salsa as well. And you don't even need salt and pepper for this. It's really good. So let me show you. This is what I came up with. I used 1 cup, so I had 2 cups left over, and I'll use that in my future chicken recipes or sweet potatoes or whatever you want. They're really good. And I'll go ahead and when I put this into the blog, I'll tell you how to make the sauce in case you want to make it independent of the chicken. Yay. So here's my chicken, and I put it on high heat for 3 hours, and then I shredded it. Okay, so now for the toppings. I always use radishes on things. So lately I've been using a mandolin and slicing them thin, and they're so good on everything, especially the tacos. So I use these on tacos. I use these crudités, you name it, I use it. Delicious. I also shredded up some cabbage and had some arugula around, so I put that again on the tacos. And it's a good way to get fiber in and bulk these up so they have a lot of, they're satiating that way. I also had some cilantro in the garden, so I cut that up. And then I always use corn tortillas now. They're a lot more filling. I love the low carb ones too, but these just are really filling. So here's my shredded chicken. I have the equivalent of 1.5 ounces per taco, or 3 for 2. I consider 2 tacos to be in my Fitness Pal, like, a serving. And so yeah, I put the chicken in first, and this chicken, I'm telling you guys are gonna love it. Then the arugula. And then some of the cabbage that I had, used used it earlier to shred it. If you haven't used a mandolin before, I mean, you need to be a little careful because if you get too close to the edge, you need to wear a glove or some kind, use the handle on it. But it does shred your lettuce, and it does make it a lot easier to digest, and it looks nice as well. So then I put some pickled red onions on here and some cabbage. And then my radishes, of course. Then I use just a little bit of cheese. Now, if you wanted to skip the chipotle mayo, which I'm going to put on next, and I put on the equivalent of half of a container of holy guacamole on this particular one. And then because I had some chips, I put them on there as well, and some chipotle mayo, and it was delicious. Okay, so to meal prep these, I went ahead and I just did it. So I'll show you what I did. I like to keep these in little containers so that I can just have everything pre-portioned, ready to go. And so what I have on here is the 3 ounces of chicken. I have the radishes, the cabbage, the slaw, the feta cheese, and yeah, that's about it. So those 4 things. Now the corn tortillas you can't put in the refrigerator, so they'll be in the drawer. You just have to put those, on the stove in a dry pan, and you just basically microwave the chicken, and then everything else you just layer on. And then the chipotle mayo, it was so little that I just ended up deciding that I would just put that on to my tacos as I go. But I would highly recommend this if you're busy. Like tonight, I'm making the video. I don't want to order out. I have 1 of those containers left, and as soon as I finish up here, I'm going to eat that. And it's easy peasy and ready to go. So give that a try. And again, that'll be in the blog post of this video. So the last thing I made was the matcha energy bites, and a lot of people say, well, isn't this supposed to be a reset diet? And to them, reset means no sugar. Reset to me meant changing my habits back to the way they used to be, which was eating 3 to 4 meals a day and enjoying everything that I eat. That's my philosophy on reset diets, and it's been working for me, you guys. I have lost, since I started this 2.5 weeks ago, I've lost 12 pounds, 13 pounds. So, I find that if you eat foods that make you happy and you're satisfied, you're less likely to binge and you're gonna want to eat correctly. So here's what I did. I put the matcha powder with the oatmeal, and I'll give you again the recipe in the blog post here. But basically we're stirring this all together, and it's 1 cup of oatmeal, 2 tablespoons of matcha powder, honey, and some peanut butter, and they're delicious. And I put in about 2 tablespoons of chocolate chips. So there you go, delicious, and for 127 calories, you can't beat it. Hey guys, so that's what I made, and it was super yummy, easy to make. It wasn't complicated at all. In fact, I think if you have like a set, I try to make my meals around 400 calories, and always have like 1 or 2 of those already made up, so that if I want to do something interesting and different, I'm not changing the routine like I was before and having to redo every meal every time. I love the sausage and cheddar breakfast sandwich, so I'll probably do that for a while now. My lunches and dinners I will change up because I do need variety there, and so I think next week I'll be doing like some edamame with ground beef, or I'll do like a ground turkey, I don't know, something. Maybe I'll do ground turkey meatloaf, or just something different. But I try to pair it with vegetables, and then if I have enough caloric calories left over, I'll go ahead and put some more starch in there. So that's been working for me, and I feel really good about it. Hopefully tomorrow I can get back to the pool. I wasn't feeling good for a couple weeks. I have lymphedema, and the sun, the weather was so bad. It was making my legs swell up so bad, and I couldn't get to the pool. But now they're better, so I'm gonna get to that. So anyway, you guys, it was good to see all of you, and I'll see you next week for another reset part 2. Thanks again, and you guys take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.